What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 16th Pygame tutorial video. In this video we're going to be talking about how to add an apple to our snake game. So up until now we've got a little, I don't know, one segmented snake. We can move them around and we fall off the screen and it, gives us this error, or not an error message, quit, game over kind of thing. So now we're ready to add the apple, get the apple, handle getting the apple, make our snake longer and all that. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we want to do is, like, when we add our apple, we want, like, our snake, we added our snake and we want the snake to kind of start in the same place every time, and the snake doesn't really reset. The only time the snake's ever going to reset is if it's a game over. So with the apple it's a little different. We want the apple to appear kind of randomly somewhere on the screen, and that's it. We just want it somewhere on the screen, but we need it to be random. So the easiest thing to do when you want something random is to import random. So we'll go import random here, and we're going to use rand range. So if you're not familiar with rand range, it's just a way that you can say I want a random number between this number, and that's a random range. So for example, underneath where we've got frames per second, oh, hold on, let me think here. Game loop. Yeah, so we're gonna have to put it in, at least in the game loop here. So we'll say under lead y change, what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna have two more variables here, and they're gonna be, we're gonna call this rand apple x equals something, and then rand apple y equals something. And what these are going to equal is going to be the following. It's going to be random.rand range. And the range we want is anything between, well, let's just think about it together, right? We want this to be anything between, like, say for x, anything between 0 and the whole display width, right? So we'd want it to be between 0 and display width, like that. I believe we didn't capitalize the W. Let me make sure. Yeah. So 0 and display width. But what happens if we just did this? Like, what if we said, okay, that's good enough, right? What might happen if we do just 0 to display width is, again, where we measure the x and y, or where we say x and y is at the top left corner. So in theory, this is anything between 0 and 800. So it could start our block at 800 and then make our little block from 800 to 810, and it would be off of the screen. So we can't go 0 to display width. So instead what we want to do is 0 to display width minus block underscore size, like that. And now that'll work out. And then the same thing we want to do just down here, except for display height. So again, it'll be random.rand range 0 comma display underscore height minus block size, and that will be random location for the x and y of our apple. Now what we need to do is we actually have to draw the apple to the screen. So there, you could draw it in a couple of ways. Just keep in mind, when you draw stuff to the screen, the order that you draw matters. So if we draw it after our snake, the apple will appear to be above our snake as we cross over. Now, if we handle the code right, that won't be a big issue for this specific game. But say you're having like a driving game or something, and maybe you drive off the road or something, you would want to make sure you draw the car last. Otherwise, as you drive off the road will cover your car basically, and you wouldn't see yourself or something like that. You always want to draw, like, the main thing, what's supposed to be on top of something. Think about it that way. Like, you have to make that the most recent drawing. So in our case, we display the snake here. So we probably should put the apple, like, right here, right after the fill. So to draw our apple, it's pretty much just like this. So again, it's going to be pygame.draw.rect. Where do we want to draw it? We still want it on the game display. What color do we want it? It's an apple. We're going to make it red. And we have red text, I think, so yeah, we're good. Red. And then this is where we're going to actually put this stuff. It's going to be, you had the rand apple x, rand apple y. So here's that. So I'm just going to copy that. So rand apple x, comma, paste rand apple y, and then again block size by block size. So block size and block size. So it's again, just to run through this, just in case anybody got lost. We've got pygame.drawRect. Where do we draw it? Game display. What color? Red. And then this is the list here of the x element, y element, how wide do we want it to be, and then how tall do we want it to be. And that's it. When we run game display.update, it'll show up. So let's go ahead and save and run this. Uh-oh. Rand apple. Okay. Yeah, we didn't capitalize the Y, so let's do that. There we go. So there's our snake, there's our apple down here, so we can move about. And you'll see though, there's a couple of issues here. First of all, obviously we're not eating the apple, but it is there. And then the other one is it's not perfectly aligned with our snake, which can create a problem later on. I'm going to show you guys both ways of handling crossover, but we'll get to that. And then just to check, okay, let's go ahead and die. Let's play again. You see it's now in there. Now it's over here, and so on. So clearly it's at least random, but we obviously don't have any handling for if we run into the apple and we eat the apple, or anything like that. So, and we also aren't getting longer when we run into it. So we need to have some handling for that. And so that's what's coming up in the next videos. As always, thanks for watching.